everyone, this is Ron from Playerk Gaming, and today we're back in Simple Planes. This is the last episode of the multi-role fighter series. Yeah, in this video, we're not going to be making a multi-role fighter, we're actually going to be doing the opposite. So, this plane may look familiar from the last episode, where we added flight computers to make it have, computer-assisted flight. We have our afterburner, our super awesome flare dispensers, external fuel that can be dropped if I remember the right button, smoke trails, a lot of fun stuff. But the main important part of it, the part that makes it a fighter, is all of its weapons. So this one in particular has 2 long-range air-to-air missiles, 4 Guardians for close-range engagements. Rolling right out to the left as I'm turning in here. There we go. We have 4 Guardians, and we also have our cannon, which the sound may sound off from inside the cockpit, but it's amazing from the inside. Or, I thought it was. We also have our air-to-ground missiles. We have blaze missiles, carpet bombs, and of course, the cannon, which is the multi-role cannon. Let's start with our blaze missiles. We can find any ground targets in the folds of this mountain. There's an AA tank here, right there. Flares. Bombs on these tanks. Oh, I'm pretty sure we actually just took something out. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like we did. Listen to my bombs. Oh, they're doing damage. Have to do some basic maneuvers. Hope we don't get took out. Flare thing. And get turned around. Oh, I drove into a missile. But that's not the point of this video. So right now, this is a multi-role fighter. It has air-to-ground and air-to-air weapons, as you just saw. But multi-role fighters aren't always super useful. Sometimes you'd want fighters that are specific for certain tasks. And that's what we're doing today. We're keeping the same hard points, because that just makes more sense overall. But this time, we're going to make it specialized. We're going to have a few specialized versions. And I will not use modded parts, so that you guys can also download this plane, which you can find on my Simple Planes account website, which is in the description below. So, I think we're going to keep the external fuel. The first one we're going to do is the, like an anti-ship weapon. An anti-ship plane. Which, that's going to need torpedoes. It's going to need long-range anti-ship missiles. And a lot of other cool fancy stuff. Now, first of all, if I just put this back here, will the bombs go with it? They will not. Here's all of our little bombs here, which I'll take out. With those taken off, we're now left with a partially stripped down fighter. It doesn't have all that much weapons, except for the cannon, which I decided to leave on as kind of like a trademark for the plane. So, you may see that I actually kept our bomb storage system right here. That's for a good reason, because we're going to be using that to hold our long-range anti-ship missile, which is going to go right here. Going to replace it with a cleaver, which is the right size for a long-range anti-ship missile, but too big for this plane. We're going to have to make it smaller. So I'm going to set it to scale. I just need to see. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. Let's set that 0.5. See how that looks. That looks awful. So we need to scale it a bit better by doing 0.75 maybe. That looks about right. this is going to need to have a few other things. So if we go into the missile part, the explosion scale is going to be 8, so it's much stronger. It's going to be called a long-range anti-ship missile. Those are real things, actually, created by Lockheed Martin. So, I don't think we're going to need to change much of the parameters, because the cleaver already makes sense the way it is. So we're going to leave it like that and start working on the rest of the anti-ship stuff. So we're going to want torpedoes, because torpedoes work against ships very well. That's the entire reason they exist. So give it 4 torpedoes. Take off this hard point and that hard point. Place and put, we're not going to put infernos here. Actually, yes I am. Perfect. Let's see if our center of mass and stuff is right, which it is. Now let's see if it can fly. Because it's pretty heavy now. It's got a huge missile. And 4 torpedoes. And some little missiles. Definitely takes longer to get off the ground. It definitely wants to pitch down. Also doing some pretty weird things. I don't quite know what's going on here, but sure. Let's set it to wing leveling mode. Not the in-game wing leveling mode, because you might have remembered from last episode. It does a bit of this. Constantly trying to correct, but then overcorrects, because the canards are too strong. This is behaving pretty weird. You might not notice, but it's flying really weird. Like if I just enable the flight computers, it levels off. Then when I try and pitch up, oh, I still have wing leveling mode off. On, sorry. Better fix that. Let it level. There. But when I try and pitch up, it rolls a bit. No weird. That would generally mean it's a weight imbalance, but I don't see any weight imbalances. So it might just be that the LRASM is in the wrong spot, I don't know. But let's try its weapon capabilities by going to the right final approach, where there's the USS Tiny, and off in the distance over here, USS Beast, and the destroyers. So let's see some torpedoes against the USS Tiny. Person mode. I am horrendous at aiming torpedoes. I'm gonna have to get nice and close. Leveling mode. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna get nice and close. And go like that. There we go. Oh! Ooh, I got a few hits. And that's the USS Tiny done. That was pretty good. I wish I could have homing torpedoes, but I think the only way of doing that is some complicated funky tree stuff and probably mods. I'm gonna go wing leveling mode. There we go. Now we still do have external fuel, so our range is extended. The only problem is an anti-submarine and ship plane would work for the Navy. And with the Navy, it's got a VTOL. So we're gonna have to make this thing able to vertically take off. Which I'm kind of excited for, but not really, because VTOL can be fairly complicated. We might even have to rework the way the engines work. Okay, that was very bad frame rates. Now that we're close enough, I'm going to use the Infernos. Two Infernos. Off. Now with wing leveling on, turn it off. I love having that refueling thing. I wonder when they'll stop trying to shoot missiles at me. Free flare. Okay. Now I'm gonna aim for the USS Beast, since it's in the middle, which means the explosion scale might actually take out the outer ones. There we go. Pop some flares. Pop some more flares. Pop some more flares. Grab my cannon. I'm gonna run out of flares. I know I have 1,200, or probably more than 1,200 of them, but still, they just keep missiling me. Oh. Oh, I was right. It took out all 3 of them. That is a nice missile. That is all the ships done, which means we're nearly complete. But there's one more thing we have to do. It has to be able to vertically take off. Which I'm assuming means I just rip out the engines. I'm going to need to find a new way of doing this. Let me think. I just had a stroke of genius. Instead of VTOL, the Navy carries aircraft carriers. So we'll just make it able to take off from aircraft carriers. So first we're going to want a catapult connector, which will go right here to allow us to take off from the carrier. Then we're gonna need an arresting wire so it can land better on a carrier. Usually in this game you can land on a carrier without one, but I'm going to put one on anyway. It's gonna go here between the wheels. Activation group is going to be B5. Let's see. I don't know what activation groups I'm already using. That does not interfere with the arresting wire. Very good. So 1 is my drogue chute. 2 drops those. 3 does nothing. 4 does nothing. 5 does that. So we're safe. We will need a full armament drop. Oops. They blew up on the ground and I was too close to the ground. So, now that we can take off from aircraft carriers, we need a few other things. So, all of the pylons will need to be fixed. So this one here is going to need to go for 4. And all of them will have to go for 4. And this allows us to, on pressing 4, jettison everything. So in case we need to rush back to base, or need to do anything like that, we have a means of doing so. There we go. Perfect. So let's see if this works. 4. It does actually shoot the weapons, which I did not expect. But it did work. which is what we want. 5, this. Let's see if we can get a good carrier takeoff and a landing. So we're going to go to US Beast aircraft carrier. Restart. Here's our takeoff. I'm gonna lower the throttle a bit. So only so we can make it to the catapult. Which is over here. I might not have slowed down enough. Okay, I can attach. You see it's attached to that wheel, which is what we wanted. Fuel to max, afterburner to max, and take off. Perfect. Set down the afterburner a bit. And see this aerial tanker. Which we can totally shoot down. Is that another tanker? Not sure if that's a tanker or a bomber. Stable mode. We can do this a bit better. And the tankers are just part of a mod that I have downloaded. So if you don't see tankers, that makes sense because you probably don't have the tankers mod. I am actually going to be removing all of the modded parts from this plane in the downloadable version. So you guys can download it without having to worry about parts that you don't have. Yeah, that was a bomber. Oh wait, no, I think it beat this. No. Okay. So I think, well, once I take this off, this is our full anti-ship aircraft. I say we did pretty well. So I'm going to save this and we'll come on to the next one. With that saved, now we can go on to back to the original version. Strip this down of all of its weapons and modded pieces. And continue on to our next version. Which I say we're going to work on our air superiority version next. I'll be right back as soon as I finish this. We now have the stripped down version and start to work on the air superiority fighter. So last time we focused mostly on anti-ship stuff, which this one will have absolutely none of. We're going to focus mostly on air-to-air missiles. So we can fit probably 3 Guardians on this plate here. Let's see. Guardian, Guardian, Guardian. Perfect. They don't interfere with that, which is nice. So then we're going to have to do some XML modding. So we're going to go to missile, and we're going to hit firing delay, set that to 0.5 so our missiles can shoot faster. Its name is going to be I've used this before. AIM 14D Talon. There we go. It's going to have its ignition delay as 0.2. So it's going to take 0.2 seconds of falling time, and then it'll ignite. Which will be very helpful, I think. Now let's make sure I didn't backtrack all this, which I did. Wait, I think I know my problem. Yep. That piece falls off. Which is easily enough fixed. So we just take this, add a new connection, do the fuselage, which it'll go from this point to that point. So now we can take off this and that. Then add more pylons. Perfect. There we go. So that's 3 missiles, which is potentially 3 air targets gone. But that's not enough. So we're also going to need a couple interceptors here, which is now 7 missiles. And then finish off with a few more AIM-14Ds. There we go. But we're still not done, because we have 2 more missiles to add. Right here. And I'm also going to change up the specs of this one. Oh, counter advantage. It's going to be missile. Name will be red top. Then I'm also going to take away these interceptors here, switch them to different names. These will not be red tops, they'll be something else. They'll also have an ignition delay. So the ignition delay will be 0.2. Firing delay, wow, I messed that up. Delay will be 0.5. And the name will be... The name could be... I don't know, I need to think of something cool. We'll just do an AIM-9E. There we go. Then we'll have 4 sidewinders. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 AIM-14s, 2 red tops, and 4 sidewinders. That's a lot of missiles. Center of mass and center of lift still look good. See how many missiles we have total. Air to ground, not very much. 2 red tops, 7 guardians. So I backtracked and they're no longer what they're supposed to be. And you may also notice I'm not in control of the aircraft at the moment. It went sploosh, which is a bit of an issue. An issue we have to fix. We're gonna have to make... First of all, we have to take away all of these guardians so we can rename them to what they're supposed to be. And then make them weightless. Actually, I think these missiles are the issue. Yeah, they weigh a lot. So, I'm gonna take away all these. And I will change this one up a bit. This is good. Mass scale, 0. Then as soon as I replace these, the center of mass does not change. These also weigh a fair bit, so I'll change their mass scale as well. There we go. Now we have to work on our AIM-14s. Because right now they're just missiles. So, name will be... You've already seen this, I'll skip ahead. So I have it fixed. And it can fly just normally. Right now I'm firing the red top at this tutorial plane, which they take forever to load. But they're so fast and they go so far. Done. Also, I'm pretty sure it's unstable, making it super maneuverable. Another tutorial plane, which I can put the red top at. There we go. There is 2 red tops, 2 planes. That is fixed. We still have 4 other things with the exact same stats as the red tops, and 7 AIM-14s. I do not see any aerial targets except for that one, which I'm pretty sure is a tanker. Yeah. Oh, there's one over here. I'm gonna missile spray this one. I gave them a fire time delay of 0.5. They can shoot pretty fast. Yeah, that's 2 missiles. Look how maneuverable this one was. It's a super dumb looking plane, but it's insane. My plane does not like this. I don't know what's going on with it. You good? Need to do the wing leveling mode, which isn't actually doing anything that's crazy. Holy heck. There's something wrong with this. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with how many missiles there are and how they're placed. Meaning an air superiority fighter just won't work. So instead we're going to make a different one. This is our multi-role fighter. We've already made the anti-ship one, but the air superiority didn't work. In this one, I'm going to try to do an anti-tank fighter. So let's get on with that. So after some tweaking, I found out the sad news. This design also will not work. It's got 4 bombs, 4 blaze missiles, and 1 150mm anti-tank cannon. It's very powerful. Problem is, this thing is less than stable. And you can see it here. It just got too unstable. I won't fly properly. Oh. Okay, I managed to avert that crisis. It just doesn't fly very well. The original multi-role fighter had a very good balance in it. This just normal one here, a very good balance, and that's why I flew so well. And for the most part, it was pretty smooth too. But that balance was just broken in the anti-tank one. Meaning, I do not actually think that right now I will be able to make any other variants on this. I'd have to tweak the fuselage design a fair bit just so it can fly properly, which is not the point of today's video. So where else to go from there, I don't really know. Because the original plan was just to make some new versions, make it really cool. But that's kind of scrapped now because it doesn't work. So I can't really think of any ideas except for silly ones, which silly ideas are cool. So let's see how much we can mess up the game. You'll see what I mean in a minute. I did it. I'm missile proof. I can hit my own flares, but I'm missile proof. If you'd like a better demonstration, let's get the boats mad, and then they'll shoot missiles at me, and I will do that. Oh no, they're mad at me. Oh no, they hurt one of my flares. Hit myself with my flares again. Their guns are just too strong. But I guess that marks the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing and or clicking the like. If you really liked it, you can comment on some suggestions, where we're going to be actually starting a new series in Team Modloader, where we're going to be doing content mods. Annie, shush! And I'm also going to make some just kind of random things in Simple Planes, just random fighters. Usually not only fighters, usually not silly things like this magnificent creature that you can see right here. Yeah, I'm talking about this one. My computer doesn't like this. Oh, this is a slideshow. Right, I made a slideshow. You want to see? Okay, if you look at this, I put flares on my plane. And when I say flares, I mean flares.